we decided to put on the agenda bylaw 0143. Recently, there's been a lot of, at the last board meeting, there was a lot of discussion about this policy, specifically the part about allowing the Jamesburg representative to vote on filling the vacancy. So we thought it'd be a good idea to bring it to the committee for discussion. Why it happens, what has happened in the past, what should we do moving forward?
So I think, as we know, we currently, there was a board approval of a new board member to take the vacancy of Ms. Bierman. And I think what had happened was, this is not a policy, nor it is a regulation. I want the public to know that this is a bylaw. So because the bylaw is here, it was then, I'm going to assume, put in by the Board of Education. One of the things that Ms. Alvarez had mentioned to me prior to the start of the meeting, and I'll be happy to repeat it for transparency, is that we have a situation where it became a matter of semantics. So it's an understanding of how the bylaw reads.
The statute.
Right, the statute, and then the bylaw is from there. But one of the things that she did say that I would like to repeat, and please correct me if I say anything wrong, is that we had a prior, this is prior to this Board of Election, this board, nobody was on this board. Prior, we had a situation where there was a vacant seat and the Jamesburg representative actually did vote. So therefore, Ms. Alvarez stated, and she can correct me if I say it wrong, that a previous board didn't even follow their own bylaw. So therefore, it would make sense to entertain whether or not this is a bylaw that we want to remove.
Continue.
Right. So that's really why we came to the conversation, or discussion rather. That's how we came to this discussion. Because if it wasn't followed previously, and then this time, the legal advice of Jamesburg's representative, we had conflicting. And then it was dictated in a positive way, I don't mean it as a negative, but it was, we were then, not me, then the Board of Education was then instructed to follow and that the Jamesburg representative could vote, because it went to the county superintendent, because the way, the time frame and so on and so forth.
So the county, when it went to the county superintendent, there was no following of any statute or policy at that point. He just said, I'm not going to pick the person.
Correct.
You guys are going to decide, and you're going to decide with majority rules, meaning everyone got to vote. Prior, the language in the statute, and I don't have it in front of me, I do have it on my phone though, and if I could take my phone, I could read it. There's a word in there that says that the sending district may,
In matters of.
it was broad.
Including but not limited to.
That's the language.
That's the language. So when you do that.
One attorney can interpret it one way, another attorney will interpret it a different way. So there's not really consistency in it.
And Ms. Alvarez.
If I can add to that. So when we had the vacant seat, there became a debate amongst board members, should or should not Ms. Scott vote. And I did what board presidents should do, and I sought out our legal counsel for advice. And what he said to me was, there is not a definitive statement in the statute that gives the sending district the absolute right on that particular item. However, it did say in the areas of governance, including but not limited to. Now so Ms. Scott went and sought a legal opinion from the Jamesburg attorney, and they felt that that line in there gave her the powers to take a vote. Now, it's very important to understand, a board cannot tell anybody they can or cannot vote. A board member themselves has to make that decision. So the nonsense out on social media that I allowed Michelle to vote is ridiculous, because me nor anybody, including the attorney, cannot allow a board member to vote. A board member has their right, when their roll is called, to make a decision. After speaking to our board attorney and getting the opinion from the Jamesburg attorney, I then went to the county superintendent. They went to the county attorney. They gave me their advice. And then they also said, why don't you check with school boards? So I called up New Jersey school boards and I spoke to their attorney as well.
Hello? We lost her. We lost you. The owl is,
The owl is on.
the owl's on.
So while we get her back on, I can read the.
Sure.
Because I found it.
Okay, so if you can hear us, Ms. Derby, we're gonna read the Ms. Albert's gonna read the statute, and then you can continue.
While you're getting back on. So it's statute number 18A 38-8.1I. Any matter concerning governance of the receiving district board of education, including but not limited to the selection of the board president or vice president, approval of board bylaws, and the employment of professionals or consultants such as attorneys, architects, engineers, or others who provide services to the receiving district board of education.
So what does that mean?
Yes.
Including but not limited to can mean a lot of things, right?
And a lot of things, and it's up to how the
You interpret
board,
it.
this board wants to interpret it and wants to move forward with our bylaw.
I'm not sure if I,
Oh, you came back, good.
oh, okay. So what I was
You-
saying
we
was,
heard Leah.
so then when I
School
talked
board.
to school boards, they said to me that they felt that that line in there would give her, the sending district the ability to participate in that vote. What he said to me was, he goes, you should look at other districts and try to find one that had the similar experience where they had a vacant seat and a sending member, and what did they do? And I said, well, I know of one. We did 3 or 4 years ago. And he goes, well, then there you have it. What is the argument? And I said, well, this policy. And he said, well, policy does not trump the statute. So if the understanding is that the statute does afford the sending district the ability to vote in all matters of governance, he goes, then she should be voting on that particular one, and you would need to change your policy accordingly. So that's where we
Yes.
are.